Every single thing in your life has a frequency. It will either bring you up or drive you down. You have a vibration. You have a frequency. That frequency unlocks the doors to untold treasures that have been waiting for you. That magic is there, waiting to come back out. When you find that spark of joy, you can carry it forward anywhere and everywhere you desire. Create with the mind's eye. You create from desire. You create from the heart. And it is made so. Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. So for everybody in Facebook land, everybody in Instagram land, everybody in kitty cat land, what we're doing is a recording today for YouTube on the topic of the magical power of being you. With that said, you ever see people who just glow, who seem like they can do no wrong, and that the light shines on them wherever they go? That's because life is an energy game. Woohoo! It's truly an energy game. When you get in alignment with your true self, magic happens and it completely transforms everything. That's what I want to talk with you about today, about how to get in alignment with your true self, the magical power of being you, so that you can play the highest level game and have the greatest, highest level existence that you possibly can. With that said, I was going to be starting the show with Ruru the Rooster, the Wonder Rooster, in my lap here today. But my wife, Jessica Pookie, also known as the Pook Star, decided to challenge me. And so in addition to the two cameras, the multiple cameras that we have for our YouTube show, I've got 2 additional cameras for Instagram Live and for Facebook Live. And so in the time it took for us to set this up, Ruru needed a nap. So why am I talking about Ruru when I'm talking about the magical power of being you? Because that rooster does not know how to be anyone else. He crows, he screams, he sings, he runs, occasionally he pecks, he chases, he dances. He lives and loves for attention. When we took him to Las Vegas, to Nevada, to the Las Vegas Strip, that boy was in heaven. When we go once or twice a week to the main street on Palm Springs, he is in heaven. When I take him hiking on the trail and we get stopped more often than a Hollywood A-lister, every single person coming along saying, "Can I snap a photo? Can I snap a photo?" And I keep going, please post him at Ruru the Rooster on Instagram. He is in heaven. He wants to be the center of attention because that's exactly who he is. He's a king rooster. He's the Elvis of roosters. He's the most powerful attractor magnet in the world. Why? Because in essence, he knows who he is, he knows what he is, and he knows when he is his true self, he gets whatever he wants. The same can be said for you. It's not that we suddenly have to be a king rooster. It's not that we suddenly have to be an extrovert. It's not that we have to wear this mighty crown proud and these wattles beneath us. Not at all. But you get to be in a vibratory alignment with who you truly are. That's what we're going to be talking about here. I want you leaving this show being more in alignment with who you are, because when you get in alignment, when you get in coherence with your higher self, and we're going to be talking about coherence a lot, and we're going to be doing a magical true you meditation at the end. So be sure to stick around for our magical power of being you meditation at the end. But if I can get you in alignment, if I can get you even a little bit more in attunement today, woohoo! It changes everything. Everything, everything. So, you may not know it, but the magical power of being you started when you were a child. It started when you were 1, when you were 2, when you were 5, when you were 6, however old it was, before you were squashed. You knew how to be you. You were living your full life, your full existence. A full life at age of 1? Absolutely. Now, I don't want to pick on my childhood here, and I love my mom and dad very dearly. I did have quite the, we'll call it, interesting childhood growing up. I was squashed quite a bit, but I managed to bounce back. And in my earliest days, I was pure Michael. That's what I'm encouraging you to be, is to be pure you, pure John, pure Susie, pure Lala, pure Aya, pure whoever. So if we go back in time, if we go way on back, my first earliest memories, what was I doing? I was riding a big wheel around the neighborhood. This giant plastic wheel that if I pressed on the pedal too much, my wheels slid. But I was riding my big wheel around the neighborhood, and then I was riding my bicycle around the neighborhood. I can remember at age 5, because I lost a tooth while I was thinking about this, thinking about the meaning of existence. I can remember as a Jewish kid going to Catholic high school 3 doors down. My locker was 3 doors down from the priest's office, going in to have conversations, shop talk on spirituality with them. And so the key pieces of my life. Oh, and I wrote. I love to write. I wrote magnificent, huge papers. I wrote a 64-page paper in 8th grade on arteriosclerosis, and I became the new editor-in-chief, or the editor-in-chief for the new high school newspaper for 11th and 12th grade. What does that have to do with anything? Well, let's look at the pieces. I love to write. I love to ride my bike. I love to talk shop on spirituality. Fast forward many years later, I love to write. We'll hold up the latest book, and we're working on our next 1 or 2 right now. I love to ride my bike, hours, epic journeys, in fact, and run everywhere I can. And I love to dive into spirituality. What does that mean? It means when we were a child, there was magic inside of us. We hadn't thought yet, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't speak, or I shouldn't play, or I shouldn't imagine, which is really in a sense what we're talking about. As a child, we were imagining the greatest existence because nobody told us we couldn't. And so we were playing in this magical imaginal realm, playing in this magical imaginal realm with the unique fingerprint, energetic fingerprint of truly being us. So I can't believe I'm going to say this. Here's the dealio. That magic is still inside of you. That magic is there waiting to come back out. How do we find the magic? Look at some of the things that you used to do. How did you spend your time? What did you yearn to do? For there was an innate wisdom inside of you, just waiting to come out. So here's the most important thing, and we're going to be diving back to this repeatedly. So important that you understand this. Who and what you are has a frequency behind it. Who and what you are has a frequency behind it. A unique, energetic fingerprint, unique in all of the universe. That is you. When we get in vibrational alignment with that fingerprint, you open the doors. I've been teaching a lot of Neville Goddard lately, and he loves to go to Bible quotes. You open the doors to the kingdom of heaven that's within. What does this mean? When you get in vibrational alignment with your soul, you become unstoppable for whatever you desire. Which is cool. That word desire, that doesn't come from us. Desires are impressed upon your heart from your higher self, your spirit on the other side of the veil, or from you before you came into this world. It's the gifts that came here wrapped around your heart. How do we unlock these gifts? By getting in attunement, by getting in alignment. See, for each and every child, there was a magic inside of us. And though the flame may have dimmed, the magic cannot go out. So everybody talks about, Michael, I need to find my purpose. I need to find my path. It's one of the number one questions we get asked on the show and in our live events. How do I find my purpose? How do I find my path? Well, first off, I would say, go to automatic writing and begin channeling your angels and guides so that they can tell you. That's like the simplest way. But in addition, it's always been there. Your purpose and path has been with you since the beginning of time. Writers, poets, singers, dancers, sowers have known this since their earliest days. But we tend to forget. We tend to forget who we are. We forget how we serve in truth, who we are in truth, why we're here in truth. Instead, we think, I must please society. I must please my teachers. I must please my parents. Or we're taught, I can't do that. I shouldn't do that. I could never do that. And we squash our true self down. Because chances are the very thing that you say, I couldn't possibly do that. My dad's popping into my head. He's still alive. I love him very dearly, and he's still here. I say that as if I expect him to go away. He's here. Woohoo! My dad wanted to be a scientist, but he thought, I couldn't possibly do that. Well, if you go in the house, what do you find? Popular mechanics, popular science, model aircraft that he's tinkering with and building, all sorts of this tech stuff that he loves to play with because he is a scientist. But he was taught and told, and his inner voice said, I couldn't possibly do that. So here's my challenge for you. The next time you hear, I couldn't possibly do that, you might want to consider racing after it with everything you've got. Racing. I was a professional cyclist. I raced bicycles in Europe. I tried to make it to the Tour de France until, as the doctor later told me, I was hurted by an automobile in a race. I'm sure there was many a person who said I would never be able to race in Europe. In fact, Andy Hampton, one of the greatest American cyclists to ever live, told me that in college a year before I went to race in Europe. He said, it'll never happen, kid. And I love you, Andy, but I made it happen, at least till I was hurted by the automobile. Naysayers mean well. They really do, but they don't want to get our hopes up and see us crushed. And so instead, they cut us off of the path and say, you couldn't possibly do that. But the greatest loved one that says you couldn't possibly do that isn't an external naysayer. It's the naysayer of your mind. You couldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't even think about doing that. When perhaps that's exactly what you get to do. Exactly what you're supposed to do is the very thing that you're fighting against. We went on tour last year with an RV, and the best way to describe this tour is everything blew up. But man, were there some cool learnings. And now we're going back in the RV in a few months, and truth be told, both Jessica and my belly are fluttering. We're going, oh, I don't know about it. But if we lean into the flutter, we know it's exactly what we're supposed to do. That's a bit of where I'm challenging you. To live your greatest life, the magical power of being you is to give yourself permission to experiment. I've got all these extra cameras around me for Facebook and your Instagram, and oh, I've got Clubhouse going too, is to challenge yourself to do the very things that have scared you the most, that you know have been niggling at you since you were a little kid. Now, COVID, we're in COVID time right now. What does that mean? Well, to me, COVID is a very interesting, I'll put that in quotes, time. It is a time when the status quo is shaken up. It is a time when things fall apart, systems fall apart, our lives fall apart. Heck, Jessica and I consider ourselves mountain ocean people. And instead, we're desert. We're in the desert outside of Joshua Tree right now, which is magnificently beautiful and very different than anything we expected. And in many ways, quite the challenge. But here we are. Why? It was part of our own personal forest fire and COVID journey that took us out of Colorado. So here's the thing. COVID is a time where if we fight against things, if we start wriggling to break free and we fight and we fight and we fight, we get sucked down into the quicksand. You've all heard of that expression. I don't know if there's an exact expression, but when you stand in quicksand, it's not bad. But as you fight, you get sucked down into it. COVID time, if you fight to break yourself free, you get sucked down into the muck and the mire. Why is that? Because in COVID, the status quo will break us. The status quo is how can I live a compromised life, a compromised existence? How can I live something that is not my true self? And I'm convinced one of the reasons the universe is hitting the reset button on everything right now is to challenge us individually, challenging us as a collective, challenge us as a species to be who and what we were truly meant to be. In other words, this COVID time is a time of complete and total reinvention. Somebody asked me on Facebook right before I started this, what does this necklace I'm wearing represent? And it's got a snake on it and it has a moonstone. What's so important about it? Well, this snake to me represents deep wisdom. Both Jessica and I have a very deep spiritual connection with snake energy. There's a snake on here that's kind of looking out from the moonstone. And we had, when we were in New Jersey, a rare endangered timber rattlesnake climb up a tree and then come down like this snake and look at us and gaze with us for half an hour. The coolest, wildest thing ever. Snake represents wisdom, indigenous wisdom. It also represents reincarnation, reinvention, and a new you, because a snake sheds its skin and leaves it behind. And that's what we get to do at this period. We get to shed our skin and leave it behind. What's the moonstone represent? It represents intentionality. When you put your intention out to the universe, that is who and what you become. So we want to reinvent ourselves to a higher octave, to a higher vibration, to a higher dimension, to reinvent yourself to who and what you were truly meant to be. And that's greatness. You get to reimagine and reinvent yourself to who and what you were meant to be. So here's the trick. We don't feel we have permission to do so. We don't give ourselves permission to metamorphosize. It's like we're a caterpillar going into the cocoon and saying, you must stay a caterpillar. Trick is the caterpillar turns into pus. The entire DNA structure changes. If you stop in the middle of it and say you're not allowed to grow wings, at very best you are going to live a miserable pus-like existence. And eventually the chrysalis is going to fall apart, and so too will you. That's how we've been taught to live. We must be brave. What's it mean to be brave? To embrace your true, full, authentic self. to allow yourself to grow the wings that you came here to grow, rather than creating an inner conflict that says, I'm not allowed to be who I'm meant to be. I can't do that because of my parents. I can't do that because of my upbringing. I can't do that because of my social economic status. I can't do it because of the money. I can't do it because of my color. I can't do it because of my creed, my sexual orientation, my skills, my lack of skills, my injuries, my this, that, or the other thing. Man, I got twin titanium femurs and hips. I run and play like the wind. I can't do it because what that does is tear us apart. What it says is, I'm not going to be happy until I'm in the pine box because I'm not living my true, authentic existence. You get to be brave. You get to be bold. You get to be bold this lifetime. I'm talking bold. Why? At the end of the day, you're in a pine box at best anyway, so you might as well fully live your life. Well, what if I trip and fall? So what? Get up, dust yourself off. What if I make a fool out of myself? So what? It's okay, dust yourself off. What if I lose all of my money? Well, as someone who's gone bankrupt once and lost it all twice, I don't want to say so what as if I'm cold and callous, but you still get to go for it because there is light and love on the other side. To not go for it leaves you in a state of misery. We all radically overestimate what we can do in a day and dramatically underestimate what we can do in a year, let alone 5 years, let alone 6 years, let alone a lifetime. We are only less than 6 years in with this show. And we reach millions upon millions of people with our audio show, with our video show, with our piping live streams going on here. And on and on and on it goes. Less than 6 years in. What could you do in 5 years if you said, I'm going to live my true, authentic self? How do we begin? Well, tonight we're going to talk about, or today, wherever it is in the time zone, this morning, we're going to talk about a very powerful technique, a space capsule technique, or a hologram, holographic, holodeck. There's the word I'm going for, technique, if you desire. We're going to teach you a technique to play in your own personal holodeck in the imaginal realm on the other side of the veil. And we're going to help you to begin to live your true, authentic self at that highest vibrational level. Remember, this game is about energy. Energy. What does that mean? It means you can work and drive and strive for something you think will help you make it, something you think will help you get ahead, something you think will be good for you. Think. And you will hurt. Neville Goddard calls that the natural state, the physical world, the objective mind, the materialistic state. The state that says I must go one step in front of the next, in front of the next, in front of the next, and work and strive and drive in order to achieve something. That state is dead, man. That state is gone, and that state hurts. Instead, we want to get to the spiritual. Woohoo! The spiritual state. What in the world is the spiritual state? It's the state where all magic takes place. It's the state where you create with the mind's eye. You create from desire. You create from the heart. And it is made so. Irregardless of your current circumstances, irregardless of what you believe is possible and not. Because when you play on the other side of the veil and you play in the imaginal realm at a state of knowingness, your frequency goes to a state of having what you desire. This is representative of a frequency. What you desire is vibrating at the same frequency. You get into sync or coherence, and it is yours. Let's take it a step further. You have a vibration. You have a frequency. I talked about this at the beginning. That frequency unlocks the doors to untold treasures that have been waiting for you this lifetime, and chances are countless past lifetimes as well. The frequency is the key. When you're vibrating at one frequency, your soul is vibrating here, and you're fighting and you're vibrating at another frequency, then your life, nothing matches up. All the gears grind. And it hurts, and hurts badly. In fact, universe likes to then give you the 2x4. She gave it to me many times. Come on, child, whack, whack, whack. To try to get us, wake us up and get us back into vibrational alignment with who we truly are, where we get to truly be. Because when we get in alignment with who we truly are, when we are singing our song, see, we each have a song, we each have a frequency. When we're singing our song in harmony, then all these gifts that the universe wanted to bestow upon us become ours. The kingdom of heaven truly is within when we get in alignment. That's why this truly is the magical power of being you. And an early step before we go play on the holodeck, an early step to getting in full and total alignment is you get to let go of your baggage. What does this mean? It means everything around you has a frequency. Everything has a vibration. I think I'm basically at the limits of what Jessica can handle, but I keep bringing in more flowers, and she's the one who gets to cut them. So more flowers and more flowers and more flowers still, because flowers hold a high level vibration. They're vibrating at a very high frequency. And I want to play the highest frequency game I can. She does as well, but unfortunately, she's been the one who's setting up all the flowers, so it's work. But when we surround ourselves with flowers and we prune away that which doesn't serve us, we're playing a higher frequency game. So we get to look around at our environment. Does this microphone serve me? Does this book serve me? Does this phone serve me? Do my habits serve me? Every single thing in your life has a frequency. It will either bring you up or drive you down. That's why I keep going to the angels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, higher self, higher team, all angels, guide, and light workers, here for my highest good and the highest good of all. Help me to help him have an amazing show today. Help me to help others. Help me to help everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is an attunement to help me play at a higher level. The more I stay in a place of attunement, the more I can look around me and say, wow, I'm looking at my shoes over there. That pair can be donated. That pair can be donated. I've got another pair coming in. That next pair can be donated later this week as well. Why is that important? Because they have a resonant frequency and energy to them. And that energy isn't where I'm vibrating at now. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do as well before we even go and play in the holodeck, is to trim the bonsai tree of your life. Look for everything that is old, stuck energy and either shift it or remove it. I'm not saying diving out of relationships. I'm not saying spending thousands of dollars. What I am saying is putting on the glasses with a hypercritical eye that looks around you. I would go to prayer. I would go to the angels and look around you and say, does this serve me? I'm not sure. Does it feel light? Does it feel heavy? If it feels heavy, why are you holding on to it? Trick is here. We're afraid of letting go. We're all afraid of letting go because we're afraid of who we were truly meant to be. Actually, what we're taught is to be afraid of being who we're truly meant to be because we might trip and fall and fail. And failure, at least in the West, is considered worse than death. Failure is considered worse than death. It's like being put on stage and freezing up. Why do we freeze up on stage? Because we're afraid we're going to fail and everybody's going to laugh and make fun of us. And so we rarely even try. What does this mean? It means that if we want to play it both ways, if we want to live fully, we get to let go of the wall. The wall that we're holding on to. And you are talking about Mr. Wallflower. If you saw me in, I don't even know if I went to a party in high school. If you saw me in college and for years afterwards, I was afraid. I was actually an introvert in a party, in any party. I was the guy holding on to the wall, a guy with a drink to try to protect myself. Stay away. I might say the wrong thing. You might see me. But we get to let go of that wall. We're afraid to let go of the bar and dance. We're afraid to let go of the training wheels and ride. We're afraid to let go of, how would I even put this? The desk and paint. And certainly we're afraid to let go of the silence and sing. And sing from the depths of our soul. But life is never played from the sidelines. Life is never played from a place of safety. It's always played from a place of high heights. So if I go back to Ruru the rooster, who I was talking about at the beginning, and we'll have him on in another show, but today he's taking a nap. It's like life is like having a rooster. Life is like a box of chocolates. Yes, Forrest, it is. But it's also like having a rooster. When you have a rooster in your life, you go, oh my God, how in the world am I going to do this? What does it mean for me? Is he going to cramp your style? Well, yeah, he's going to cramp some style. Is he going to change your life? Yeah, he's going to change some life. But if you understand that God is, I am, what does this mean? That everything is spirit. Everything is on track. Everything is on purpose. And you have been gifted with a rooster in your life. Then that rooster is your greatest guide. He's not cramping your style. He's helping you find your style. He's not keeping you from living certain places. He's helping you find exactly where you're supposed to live. And so instead of pushing away the rooster, embrace the rooster. Embrace your true nature, no matter how loud, no matter how scary, no matter how big, bold, authentic, or against everything that you've been taught you're supposed to be. Heck, we're supposed to be quiet meditators. Quiet. Very, very quiet. And yet we have the loudest animal on the planet. 140 decibels. Louder than a jet airplane by 20 decibels. Well, society says this, and common culture says that, and you can't possibly do this, and there's no way you can do that. But our hearts say he's supposed to be with us. Our desire says he is part of our tribe. And so to be our full, true, authentic self, to play the highest level energetic game, is to embrace our rooster with everything we've got. The magical power of being you is about playing an energetic game, a game of high frequency, a vibrational match, where we will not compromise and we're not allowed to be anyone else. We must embrace the full rooster of being you. You get to embrace the full rooster of being you, no matter what. So now let's talk about coherence and give you a tool to dive in. Are you having fun? I hope you're having fun. I'm having a lot of fun. And for those people who are following live on Facebook and Instagram, thank you. You're holding space for me today. So, woohoo! And for those of you who see my eyes darting around a little bit, I've got so many cameras to look at. I've got the main TV camera. I've got an upper TV camera that I am learning as we go along. But you know what? I'm in my sweet spot. I am in this moment in my true authentic self. I am vibrating at my high energy. I am singing my song. because I'm doing what's pulling on my heart. And don't go, well, Michael, you get to do that, but I couldn't possibly. 6 years ago, we were literally wiped out, had no money, left Maui in Jessica's childhood bedroom, 2 twin mattresses on the floor, sleeping on the floor, a car outside in the driveway that we couldn't even afford to register. And thank God Jessica's parents put us up. We had nothing, completely wiped out. Other than our kitties, thank God, we were completely wiped out. Jessica didn't even have her health back, completely wiped out. So when you say, I couldn't do that, you can do that, I couldn't, we were completely wiped out. But we started to get in attunement, in alignment, in vibrational harmony with our true self. All right, let's talk coherence. If we each have an energetic frequency, an energetic fingerprint, you can say, or we can call it a vibration or a song. We each have our own vibration or song. Then when we are not singing it, or even worse, when we are discordant, meaning to play bad chords, to make bad music out of alignment with our songs, it hurts. And it hurts badly. They say, as above, so below, as within, so without. That means that if you are singing a song in harmony, all greatness comes to you over time. All great things come to those who live in the kingdom of heaven. What does this mean? When you sing your song, you become an attractive magnet of greatness. The miracles that have come into our lives is truly astounding. As we've gotten more in alignment and more in alignment and more in alignment. And we still have even further to go as we truly discover our full or embody our true, full, and authentic selves. However, when you've heard that expression, out of alignment, what that means is you are discordant in the inside, chaotic on the inside, tearing yourself apart on the inside, and therefore the outer world is tearing you apart as well. So we've heard of heart coherence. That means getting into vibrational alignment with our heart first, and then the head and the rest of us follows. We may have heard of global coherence, and there is some amazing research done by Dr. Dean Radin and his team, by HeartMath and their amazing scientists, by Dr. Dawson Church and many others, Bruce Lipton, when it comes to heart coherence, when it comes to global coherence. Global coherence means to get in vibrational alignment with everyone else. Because we are each human beingness is a cell in the human beingness of all. We are all one living organism. And as we come into accord, as we begin to sing in harmony, we all rise together to a higher octave. Paul Selig and his guides call this the upper room. We as a human beingness rise to a higher room, the upper room, when we get into a vibrational alignment with everyone. We go to our own individual higher room when we get into vibrational alignment with ourselves. What does that mean? Well, chances are you're trying to sing someone else's song. You're trying to play somebody else's music. And your music is in conflict with them. And so you're in great discord or a lack of coherence when you're trying to play someone else's song. It doesn't work. We all came here. You came here with your own unique individual song. At the beginning, I talked a little bit about my path. My song certainly is helping others, is learning about spirituality, is teaching spirituality, is riding my bike like the wind, is running, is playing, is writing. And certainly animals, every which way, shape, or form. That is a big part of my song. And I get to sing it with everything I've got. And they still practice this in indigenous cultures. They still practice this in parts of Africa, where the tribe will call in a baby. So to a mother who has an unborn child, the tribe will call in the baby by singing his or her song. And we'll literally sing that child, sing that spirit into existence. We all have this song within us. This is where we get back to. If we sing the song, if we live who and what we were meant to be, there'd be less strife, less worry, less anxiety in the world, because we as a society, as a global planet, global community, be vibrating at a higher octave. And for an individual, we would have less dis-ease as we are singing our song at a higher octave as well. That song has the highest vibratory message. And so I want you to work on singing your song. If you sing your song, here's a better way to put it. I recently watched the movie Hugo. Oh my God, did I love this movie. And in the movie Hugo, the hero, little child, who loves to fix watches and fix clocks, and his dad fixed clocks as well, or fixed watches as well. He said, I view the whole world as a machine. And he said, whenever you buy a machine, it comes with exactly the number of parts that you need and not one piece extra. And so he says, if you think of the world as a machine, then the entire world came in here intact and complete without a single extra part. It came here perfect. And I'll put it in my vernacular, singing its own perfect song. So each of us has a role to play. Each of us has a song to sing. Each of us helps us get into synchrony or harmony when we're singing our song, not someone else's. That's what brings us individually in harmonious alignment. That's what brings us all as a group into alignment. Now you might say, Michael, the song's buried, the song's dead, the song's gone. Oh God, I love that slip of the tongue there. The song is gone. And I'm here to tell you, the song couldn't be gone, no matter how much you tried, because each one of your cells is vibrating in this song. In fact, if we put you under the biggest microscope, and I saw this with our dog Pumpkin years ago, you would see that each of your cells emits light. Each cell is singing. We've had another device that was put on Jessica where you could hear the different organs of the body. Each organ is singing. I had on a guest recently who talked about her son who was, Martha Beck, who talked about her son who has Down syndrome, who was listening to the sound of the planets as recorded by like Voyager and other NASA spacecraft. And he was watching this TV show and he walked by and he said, what are those sounds? And his mom said, that's the sound of the planets. And he goes, oh, I've got those sounds inside of me. That makes sense. We have the songs of the universe within us. So, the biggest question for today is, where is this song? Where is your song? It's at the nexus. What's the nexus? The nexus is the coming together of nodes on a timeline, for instance. One line's coming in from here, one line's coming in from here, another line's coming in from there, multiple dimensions. Where they meet is the nexus, or as I like to call it, the conflagration. You could say the confluence too, but I'll get there. The conflagration between your likes, between your good ats, and between your curiosities. A conflagration is a fire point. When your likes, your good ats, and your curiosities come together, you are on fire. It's not just a confluence, a coming together of multiple streams. What we're talking is about a fire starter. And each of us, except perhaps the very, very worst of the abused who were abused since an earliest age, and I've coached so many people, and I know that so many people have been abused. The numbers we have are so far off. So my heart goes out to you. But chances are, even for you, You remember some things that you were good at. You remember some things that you like to do. You remember some things that you were curious about. It's interesting. For some reason, I ended up taking an inventory of past girlfriends while I was writing this to talk to you tonight. And my first girlfriend, her conflagration, her fire point, was she was a professional rodeo athlete. She loved helping heal animals. And she loved studying. And she loved tinkering and healing. Her conflagration, her coming together, all of that, was to become an amazing large animal veterinarian. Another one was running and tinkering and challenging herself every which way she came. She became a professional marathoner. Another one loved helping people to heal, to try new things, to think outside of the box, and to study everything she could. And she became a professional doctor. When you look at that nexus, that conflagration of what you like to do, what you're good at, and what you are curious about, you become unstoppable. Now, this is a key one. We have snuffed the curiosity out of almost each and every one of us. If you want to get back to what you like and what you're good at, start with the curiosity. What interests you? What do you want to find out more about? Why are you listening to me here today? Obviously, there is a small fire point here. Start with what you are, or in particular, were curious about. And I encourage you to go back in time. How far back? Go back to when you last had a spark of joy. Maybe that's yesterday, last week, last year, last decade, or almost back to the beginning of your existence here on earth this time around. But look for where you had a spark of joy, because that's where the magic is. Go back to where you last were alive. So the last thing I have before we dive into a meditation is I talk to you about playing in a holodeck. What's a holodeck? Well, if you watched Star Trek The Last Generation or any of the more recent Star Treks, it was a device, a room that somebody could go into where there is holographic images of everything. And you could play and be a pirate, you could go swimming, you could have a romance, you could ride a horse, you could do just about anything you wanted as long as you didn't hurt yourself or hurt others. What does this mean? Well, we can all go into an imaginal realm, into a room which is pure play, a room where we're back in a state of pure imagination. The key to the kingdom of heavens is your nexus mixed with imagination. That's the true magical elixir of life. Nexus combined with imagination is the true elixir of life, because that will bring you back to your song. Yes, it's a manifestation tool. It's something that I teach in our Manifestation Mastery Circle 4 Wednesdays a month. Certainly, I can talk to you about how we can use this as the most powerful manifestation tool on the planet. That conflagration, your nexus combined with your imagination. But it's more powerful than even manifestation of I want this, I want that, I want a relationship, I want the other. What we're talking about is I want my song, I want my life, I want my true purpose, path, direction. I want to sing at the highest level I can sing. I want my voice back. I want my life back. What life was I meant to live? You'll find it here. So what do we want to do? Take 10 minutes a day. Heck, take 10 hours a day. Well, let's start with 10 minutes a day. Find yourself a room, find yourself a closet, find yourself a cupboard, find yourself a sheet or cover that you can hide underneath. And I want you closing your eyes. I want you putting on like some theta brain entrainment music, or I want you grabbing your book on automatic writing and learning how to get into the hypnagogic state, the state where you're half on the other side of the veil. And I want you to go back to a magical point in your childhood. And for 10 minutes a day, play there. Don't watch yourself playing. If you liked stickball, pick up the stick, hit the ball. If you liked swimming, don't watch yourself swimming. Go to a water park, dive into the water, swim underneath the ropes, go and dive into the ocean. I want you playing for 10 minutes a day with everything you've got. Why? Because you will rediscover your true self. You will rediscover your song. Yeah, but I'm not a kid anymore. Doesn't matter, we're grabbing your song. Yeah, but I couldn't play like that anymore. Doesn't matter, we're grabbing your song. Yeah, but. All right. Have you ever heard a song on the radio and gone, oh my God, what is it? I love it. And then after that, you keep hearing it again and again and again. Or you see a car on the road. I'd like to think of a Mini. And you see a Mini on the road and you go, wow, what is that? That's really cool. Or today, maybe it's a Tesla. Or for ourselves, it's our Momentum RV. Whatever it is, you see it on the road once. You hear the song, everything is frequency, everything is energy, everything is vibration. And so you catch the energetic fingerprint of that vehicle, and now you start to see it all around you. In a sense, you're calling it in. Because once you catch it once, you can get back to it almost any time you want. So 10 minutes a day, I want you playing in that holodeck. I don't want you on the sidelines. I don't want you saying, okay, I picked up the stick, he throws the ball. He picked up the stick, he throws the ball. No, I want you picking up the stick. The ball comes to you. You hit the ball. Oh my God, it also almost broke Mr. Smith's window. You're running for first base, which is the stairs on your right. You're running for second base. That's Mr. Smith's mailbox. You're running for base number 3. I want you playing. Play. This is serious business. Play with everything you've got in that imaginal realm, with everything you've got. Play till it hurts and then play some more? No, not till it hurts, but play till you get calluses. Play till you've got such a grin on your face. Play till you get calluses and you got to go home and mom's got to give you some Tang. Does anybody ever actually remember Tang? Or that giant bowl of fruit punch that would walk through the walls in TV commercials and say it's time to get whatever your sugar fruit drink is? I want you fully living that childhood experience, something that was so much fun you don't even want to leave it. That's the secret. When you live in the imaginal realm to where it's so much fun you don't even want to leave it, you did it. You got into vibrational alignment. You got into your song. And now you can get back to your song anytime you want. So what do you do from there? You play with it, you play with it, you play with it, you play with it, you play with it. And each and every day, I want you to leave your holodeck and write down what you learned. Write down what you discovered. Write down what you found. And you'll begin to discover your nexus. You'll find your likes. You'll find your good ats. You'll find your curiosities. Now you go back into the holodeck 10 minutes a day and you start exploring in the here and now. What would give me that joy? I loved stickball. Oh my God, did I love stickball? And not me, but I'm saying for that person who does. I love riding my bicycle. Oh my God, did I love riding my bicycle? I still love riding my bicycle. And I love running, and I love swimming, and I love playing. And so I'd go into the holodeck. Let's go back to the stickball. I go into the holodeck and say, oh my God, I love stickball. Well, now fast forward 10, 20, 30, 40 years, 50, 60 years, however. Would I love going to a ball game? Well, let's play that. Let's play that for 10 minutes. Does that give me the same joy? No, not quite. How about managing a team? Oh, that's really exciting. How about starting a stickball league for masters? Wow, that's really cool. Find what lights you up in the same way. And in that imaginal realm, don't accept compromise. Do not accept compromise. Because if you can make it real in your mind's eye, this has to do with something called the law of causality and the law of balances. Causality says that the energy creates the state creates the energy, which is also Neville Goddard's law of reversibility. Energy creates the state can create the energy. Energy can create the state can create the energy. Electricity can create heat can create electricity. Incredible emotion can attract greatness into your life. Greatness can attract that amazing emotion. That's called, in a sense, the law of balances too. Which means if you get into that state where you feel it, you see it, you know it, it by design has to take place or something better to balance out the equation of life. Life is always in perfect balance. We may be torn apart inside of ourselves, but the whole mechanism is perfect just as it is. So, if you want to create, you go into that imaginal realm 10 minutes a day and you make something real which feels just as good as that nexus point you had when you were a child. And you accept nothing less. An RV journey where we're playing, where we're swimming, where we're going to mountains, where we're exploring, where we're on the mic, where we're writing, where we're creating children's books, where we're checking out nature, where we're playing with the animals, where we're. I know that sounds over the top, but that's the point. The point is not to be goofy over the top. But the point is that energetic excitement. It shows up differently for different people. My song is certainly woohoo. But that energetic excitement is inside of each and every one of us. And when you find it in the holodeck, when you find that spark of joy, you can carry it forward anywhere and everywhere you desire and create a completely new life for yourself. In fact, the magical power of being you is actually an infinite power. The only limiting factor is how big you can dream and how great you desire to imagine. For the universe and the law of balances will always bring you the equal to the energetic frequency at which you imagine. Why? Every door to your future has a frequency to it. Every door has a vibration. If you find that vibrational alignment by playing in the imaginal realm, it pops that door open wide. There is no door where you stick in the right key and the door goes, well, I decided I don't want to open today. Okay, you could say, I need to lubricate the lock, whatever. But the door will not say, hey, you're in perfect vibrational alignment. You stuck in just the right key. I'm not feeling it today. That violates every law of the universe. So your job, simply put, is to find your song. The conflagration of your likes, your good ats, and your curiosities, called the nexus. Combine the nexus with imagination, you have the elixir of life, and you have the infinite power of the universe in your hands. So with that said, we are going to dive into a meditation now for the magical power of being you. But before we do that, if you want a simple tool to play in the imaginal realm, to help you get to this magical place, get the automatic writing experience. This book is a gift. This book is a gift to where you go quiet, you put pen to paper, and the universe starts to speak to you. It helps you know your purpose, your path, your direction. It helps you to create. It helps you to get back to that childlike state of joy. It helps you to reach on to the other side of the veil, to connect with loved ones, to go to spirit, to go to the angels and go, why am I here? And get answers. You can get this at automaticwriting.com with tons of bonuses. Of course, you can find this at Amazon, and certainly go to your local bookseller as well. And what's interesting is I was recommending people get 3 copies of the book. Now I'm crazy. I'm saying if you have the money to do so, get 4 copies of the book. Get at least 1, but get 4 copies of the book. Why? Get 1 for yourself so you can communicate with angels, so you can get to the other side of the veil in the easiest way possible, so that you can live in this nexus, discover your purpose, your path, your direction, discover your song. My song is in this book. I had no idea. This book took half a decade to come out, and it is my song and my gift to you, because in it you will find your song as well. So you get a copy to find your song. You gift it to a loved one so that they can find their song as well. You gift it to someone who's in the dark, who's really struggling, who's wearing a dark coat of depression, of stress, of worry, of anxiety. And I have seen so many people go into automatic writing, which is not journaling. This is a process of communicating with the angels, with communicating with spirit. And they write, and their frequency goes up because now they're vibrating at the level of spirit. Woohoo! The darkness goes off of them. Their entire lives change. And last but not least, pay it forward. The best we can do to help ourselves is to help someone else. So I know you've just helped 2 people by buying 1 for a loved one, by buying one for someone who's in the dark. Get 1 for your local library. The more automatic writing books we get out into the world, the more people who learn how to connect with spirit, the more people learn how to sing their song or find their song, we change the world. We get into harmony. I'm very, very biased. My mission: raise people's vibration, elevate consciousness, shift humanity. If everybody learns how to communicate with spirit, if everybody learns how to sing their song, they will, by definition, raise people's vibration, elevate consciousness, and shift humanity. And you will too. And the law of giving, the law of reciprocity, and the law of generosity all state that what you give will come back. And they come back tenfold. The more you give away comes back to you. You get 1 in your local public library, and it benefits everyone. So with that said, let's get into a meditation now on the magical power of being you. Before we do that, let's shrug our shoulders for a little bit. We've been going for quite a while. This, in fact, because we're live, is one of my longest events here, because I have been inspired by you people who are watching me on Facebook, people who are watching you on Instagram. I love you guys. Woohoo! How does it get any better than this? So shake things out for a minute. Get nice and loose. You can do a little om, Get out of your seat, shake yourself out, get that energy going. Feeling a little bit better. You could take a 10-second run to the bathroom and back. If it's not live, you can hit pause. You can come back to this certainly. And I'm shaking things out because I've gotten a little bit tight here, but this is so much fun. This is so much fun being with you here today. All right, let's do a really short meditation on the magical power of being you. And with that said, I'm wondering if we should restart that camera because I know that file size matters. Yes, size matters when it comes to files. All right, here we go. Usually I like to have people sit up nice and tall, but today, why bother? I'd like you to get relaxed. In fact, I would like you to close your eyes and feel what it feels like to sit like you're a kid again. And so myself, I definitely wasn't sitting up nice and tall. I was probably looking around at everything in the room, but I was doing anything but sitting perfectly upright. Sit like you're a kid again. And then imagine everybody that is here watching this past, present, and future is all around you. You are in a giant circle, and I want you to reach out your hand to the right And COVID safe, take somebody's hand, and to the left, and take their hand as well. And I'd like you to lean to the right with everybody, and lean to the left, and lean even more to the right as if this is a childhood game, and even more to the left, and one more time to the right, and to the left. And now we're going to add in breathing. Inhale as we go to the right. Exhale as we go to the left. Inhale as we go to the right. Exhale as we go to the left. And inhale as we go right. And exhale as we go left. Now, as you continue to breathe in and out, we are all now in coherence. We are swaying and breathing as one. And that's where intention meets a group and things really take off. And so now I would like you, in this childlike state, swinging back and forth, breathing in and out, I'd like you to go back in time. Go back to when you were a young adult, go back to when you were a teen, or go back to wherever you desire, where you were having pure joy. Can you remember an experience? Even a glimpse of an experience. What does it look like? What does it feel like? As you're back there, I don't want you to see yourself having the experience. I want you to live it. You are now that age again. You're looking at the world through those eyes. You can see your hands. You can feel your mouth move. You can feel your little legs beneath you. Are you playing, skipping, riding your bicycle, jumping rope? I'd like you to fully 4K HD live this experience for a minute or two as if it is real. A true, perfect moment, even if you have to make it up. While you're doing this, focus on how good it feels and making it more real, and more real still. What do you see? What do you hear? What are you touching? If it's a great meal, what are you tasting or smelling? Looking out through your eyes, take in the entire landscape around you. How cool is it to be back here? can you come up with a word that represents this place? Maybe it's yes, or ball field, or picnic. Come up with one code word which could bring you back to this place. And then come up with one body movement, like the click of the heels of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, or like putting your hands together in a clap that can bring you back to this state. For me, I love to use the word yes and a clap. Yes, I bring myself back to this place. Yes, I bring myself back. Yes, I am here living and embodying this experience. What I'd like you to do is for a little while, a week or two, maybe more if you'd like, each and every day, 10 minutes in this state. You can start and shortcut by the process by going quiet and going to yes, or whatever it is for you. Play in this imaginal realm for at least 10 minutes every day, working to strengthen the muscle of your imagination, each day making it a little more real and a little bit more real and real still. What conversations are you having? Write them down afterwards. What new things did you see? Write it down. What new things did you hear or feel? Write it down. I want you to strengthen that muscle of imagination by making it more real than real. As you are getting into a higher vibration state, and higher still, and higher still. Neville would call this playing at a higher dimension. And I want you to anchor in this goodness, this greatness, this incredible feeling. And then after a week or two, I want you to go back in, grab this state, and start playing with how could I feel that in the here and now. Because that state is your song. If you knew it then, you can find it again here. You can find it in your future. And as you lock target with your song, you become truly unstoppable. And so that's my wish, that's my hope, that's my dream for you, is to play in this state as much as you can, as frequently as you can. And as you vibrate with your song and you come into alignment, you'll discover that magical power of being you. And not only will you become unstoppably great, but as your frequency goes up, you will change the life of everyone around you just by being you. Just by being you. And so I want to wish you the most beautiful day ahead, the most beautiful evening ahead, the most beautiful weekend ahead. If you love this, if you're watching on YouTube, click here to check out more shows. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified of upcoming shows, YouTube premieres, live events with me. Again, get a copy, get 3 copies, get 4 copies of Awe. Leave your comments and questions below, both on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on everywhere. Love you guys so much, and keep on shining bright. I love you guys. Woohoo! Sing your song. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Love you guys.